Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Daniela, and on this channel we do crafts, cocktails, some cooking, a little bit of everything, and today is part of the Unconventional Materials Challenge hosted by Yelena from Blending Next Door and co-hosted this month by Miguelito's DIY. So let's jump in and see what we made today. Oh my gosh, look at this. I am super in love. This says free to be me, and it's just kind of this cool multimedia mirror piece that I made from a square mirror tile. I think it's supposed to be like a candle holder, and a wire basket from Dollar Tree. And to adhere them together, I first made sure I found like the center of my basket. Don't worry. And I'm going to use a combination of E6000 as well as hot glue, but to really adhere them together, I'm going to attach it with some felt on the back. And I don't know about you, but my E6000 likes to get really stuck. So what you see here is my boyfriend helping me get it unstuck. But I did hear a good tip that you can use some petroleum jelly around the little whatever rivets or something to help it come undone easier next time. So I did end up putting that on later. But anyways, I'm using this combo for a permanent hold as well as an immediate hold because this was a piece I knew I was going to want to keep long term. So I've got lots of E6000 in the middle, and then I'm hot gluing my felt piece around the edges so that it's all secured together. Now, I thought this was really representative of this transformational experience, right? Like the freedom of being a butterfly and flying, but also the transformation of going from caterpillar to cocoon to butterfly, and I just think it's such an amazing message. So that's why when I saw my Dollar Tree butterflies, I knew that I just had to make this. So I've got this big black wooden canvas type of board, and I actually got this for free from my school. So you could totally use a foam board or just paint a canvas black would work. Just make sure it's not a canvas board, an actual canvas, so that it can hang on something. And if you're using a foam board, you kind of have the same issue of how am I going to hang it? But maybe your best option then would just be to buy a regular framed canvas, wooden frame canvas, and just paint it black. So I was lucky and I already had this. Now I've got all these different butterflies from Dollar Tree that I'm just kind of playing with in terms of position and seeing where I might want them. And I rearrange them until I'm really happy with the composition. I'm using two separate packs from Dollar Tree. One is these plasticky pop-up 3D type of butterflies, like that green one there. And then there were these purple die cuts that came in a really big pack. So I thought it would add dimension to have both of them there. So that's why I'm staggering them into place, and you can kind of see where I'm going here. Guys, I do apologize. I know the lighting is really rough in this video. I really struggled with my ring light to get in a position where it wasn't just going to blind everyone. Anyways, I'm adhering that butterfly that was on top of my basket with another piece of felt to really make sure that it's going to stay on there. Again, I'm trying to add lots of dimension, so that's why I've got some inside the cage representing this thought of being trapped or whatever, wanting to be able to spread your wings, and then they're kind of fluttering out of the basket or the cage as well. So I've got some on the cage or basket, whatever you want to call it, and I'll have some on the outside too. Now, I am measuring to make sure that this is centered. If you know me, you know I don't really like measuring stuff to make sure it's centered, but I really thought it would be important that I don't screw this one up because I really had high hopes for it. Now you could totally trace where your basket was or leave little markers. I kind of just lifted it up and then hot glued my little butterflies down in the position where I wanted them. Make sure to pat them down, and then I'm going to go back and remeasure it, make sure it's centered once again, just so that obviously I didn't mark it like I just advised you to. So that way it is centered on my piece here, at least well enough where I'll have enough space on each edge for it not to look totally wonky, okay? You don't want it to be obvious if you didn't measure it. Now I contemplated for a while how in the world I'm going to get this to adhere here, and so I ended up just cutting up little pieces of black poster board, and I'm just using a combination again of the E6000 and the hot glue. So I've got the E6000 in the middle where it would adhere to the metal, and the hot glue on the edges, and this is because hot glue does not really like metal, or maybe metal doesn't like hot glue, either way. So that's the process I used, and I did wait a little bit long for that first one to be pushed down before or after I had put hot glue in it, so I do go back and reinforce it, but the rest of them turn out pretty seamlessly, and this method worked really well for me. Once that's all done, I'm going to go in with some more of my little die cut purple flowers, and I'm just using little tiny pieces of felt and hot gluing them to the back, again, to wrap it around that wire. Now, I know I'm not doing the E6000 and hot glue for this method, but there's just not much space on that little tiny felt square that I cut out, so I'm just doing what's easy and possible and hoping that these don't fall off. I will take care of it at that time if and when they do. Now I'm going to write my quote on here, which is free to be me. This is something I really resonate with, just because, I don't know, I just feel like it's so important to be like authentically yourself and genuinely yourself. And that's why I'm making these DIYs that honestly I think are just really true to me. They are fun and glitzy and glam and colorful, and they also go along with the theme of this challenge, of course, which is the unconventional craft materials. So I am using my Posca paint pens, which I absolutely love. They are, as far as I'm aware, like the best paint pens. I see a lot of like professional artists use these as well. I will leave them linked in the bio. My honey bought me these from Amazon in a really big like 36 pack, and they work so nice. So just to make it a little bit thicker, I'm just going to go back over it. I'm using a really like cute pastel pink color. I'm just trying to thicken up my letters to make it stand out a little bit more. And again, it's important to do your quote or whatever you're writing or drawing first so that you can work the other extra butterflies around this piece. So I'm just, again, going nice and slowly and just filling in and thickening up all my letters to help my words stand out a little bit more. Alright, now I'm going to start playing with composition again and using those die cuts as well as those plastic butterflies to put them around my little basket or cage, whatever you want to call it. Now, those plastic flowers, I believe, came in like a 4-pack, and I did buy 2 of them, but I only used 1 for this. And then the die cut pack came with like a zillion. Gosh, there has to be like at least 20 in there. And there's lots of different shapes and sizes and colors. Some have gold flecks on them, some have more white. So there's really a nice variety, and you can really customize this the way that you want it to be. The whole point is, again, is like breaking out of that cage, really transforming and feeling free, spreading your wings. This, I feel like, is such positive messaging, and I absolutely love it. Now, I'm fixing a couple of smudges with my black Posca paint pen. They're kind of hard to see on camera here, but I did have 2 little spots where I smudged a little bit of my pink paint pen, and then another spot where there's a little bit of smudged glue. So I'm just putting down a little bit of my black paint pen and then smudging it or smearing it with my finger so that it blends in with the black background and doesn't just stand out. And that's it for this piece. I think it's absolutely stunning, has such gorgeous messaging, and I can't wait to find a place to hang it up in my home. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like I said, today's Unconventional Craft Challenge is hosted by Yelena from Blondie Next Door and Miguelito's DIY. I will have both of their channels linked down below, as well as the playlist, and I sincerely invite you to go check out all the amazing creators who joined this challenge. Look at her! Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with the self-love potion bottle. I can't wait to show you what the back says either. So I'm starting with this empty bottle of Crown Apple. I kept this from a drink we made in a few videos ago, and I thought it would just be perfect to be a little potion bottle, but as Halloween season, at least in YouTube world, is kind of ending, I was like, what else can I do with it? And then I was like, oh my gosh, perfect for my self-love DIYs video. I'm going to make a self-love potion bottle. So I'm just using regular printer paper, tracing out the front and the back labels, and then cutting them out. Now, this is just regular paper because I'm going to use this as a template. This is not going to be my permanent piece. I didn't want to crease or draw and accidentally screw up what would be my label, which is this black poster board. Now, this black poster board is just from Dollar Tree. So, and I think that their poster board is less than $1 if I remember right. So I'm just using my template, tracing it on there, cutting it out once again. Easy peasy. Now we're going to set those aside in the meantime, and we're going to work on glittering our bottle so that it has time to dry. I am using Plaid products. I'm a proud Plaid ambassador, and I'll leave their link for you down below. But they make craft acrylic paints, Mod Podge, all sorts of wonderful products. I'm using the satin Mod Podge because that's what I could find on hand today, and I didn't want to use my matte one. And I mixed it with a little bit of a pastel pink paint. The reason for that is so that when it dries, you can see a little bit of pink underneath the glitter, just in case there are a few spots that I missed. So I mixed those together, and then I'm just kind of going area by area, spreading it onto my bottle, and then pouring a bunch of glitter on it. Now I end up using a total of 4 different colors of glitter. I wanted it to be somewhat of a gradient, and I wasn't sure how long my glitter was going to last. So as you can see here, I'm trying to be resourceful, picking it up with my hands and sprinkling it on. This was a terrible idea, because all I did was stick to my hands. Here is what I should have done and what I did do moving forward. So as I was going along, and I could really wait till the end, but I was afraid of running out of glitter. But anyways, I've got my glitter or my bottle on some parchment paper, folded it in half, poured it right back into its perspective bottle, okay? Perspective? It's not perspective. Must be respective. Anyways, I'm going to do this all around my bottle, front, back, sides, and then I will move on to the next color, but really pay attention to any patches that might be loose. And I'm also kind of staggering it, let's say. Like, it's not an even line across because I thought that would look a little bit too stiff and structured. So I've got some areas where it's higher pink, lower pink. I just wanted to create some variety and interest in this piece. Then I'm going to move on to my next color, which is a somewhat lighter pink. It's kind of hard, honestly, it was kind of hard to see like up close the difference, but I was like, well, hopefully you can tell when I do it, and you can. Hopefully you can at least. I know I could. Same process. I'm using that pink Mod Podge paint mix, and then I'm just pouring my color on there and collecting my glitter, throwing it back in the jar, and just doing this process over and over again. Now you want to do this color by color because otherwise all your glitters will mix and you won't be able to save some of them. So I am filling in any gaps, going in a little bit lower to the dark pink, going a little bit higher towards the neck of the bottle, and just covering that baby in that beautiful pink glitter. So for the neck of the bottle, I layered on some of that pink Mod Podge and then this like white-ish iridescent glitter, and at first I wasn't sure how I felt about it, so I tried a little silver, then it got kind of muddy and whatever, but I ended up just going over it again and sticking with just that iridescent white-ish color, and I actually love it because it dried like pearlescent on the pink Mod Podge glue color, and it just turned out this like super beautiful iridescent pastel pink color. Now with that pastel pink next to the other colors, it felt like there wasn't a good transition, like it just felt really abrupt. So once I had all of that area covered, I did end up doing a little area around the neck of the bottle to transition it right where the white meets the pink, and added some silver glitter there, which I think was the perfect touch to add. Then I'm going back in and patching up any areas that need a little extra glitter, making sure it's all even. And off camera, I did this with all 3 of the colors, not just the white. So I didn't want any areas that looked like bald or clear showed the bottom. Now I'm cleaning this up with my handy dandy ladybug vacuum, which I will also leave for you linked down below if you're interested. This made the glitter cleanup so much easier. I know a lot of people don't like using glitter because I think it's a huge mess, and I totally respect that, but this little ladybug vacuum made it so much easier. Now for my little cap of my bottle, it was gold, but kind of a dull gold, so I'm going in with some liquid leaf, which I think is like an enamel paint, but it's just the most beautiful metallic gold. Also, we'll have that linked for you. You can also pick it up at, I think I got this one at Hobby Lobby, but I'll leave it linked for you below. It just added some extra shine to our cap. And I'm showing you here that you can't actually wash out the brush after you use it. You have to use acetone. So I'm just using my little pump acetone from Dollar Tree to wash out some of that gold enamel so it doesn't turn super crusty. Now I'm finally using my Posca paint pens again to create my little labels. And so I used this beautiful like minty-ish or seafoam green color, my pastel pink again, which I love, and white to write self-love potion. And for the back label, I also decided to make the ingredients for what is in my self-love potion. So you can, again, customize this however you want and put whatever ingredients you feel like go in your self-love potion or that maybe you really need. And in times of trouble, you're like, you know, I need a little bit more of this in my life. So I've got ingredients written here. I wanted to keep the colors consistent, so I underlined it in pink again. And then I thought about what self-love meant to me and or what I needed. So I wrote down trust, compassion, kindness, because we have to remember to be kind to ourselves. And then I struggled for a minute with the last one and came up with confidence. And in some ways I'm super confident, but there's some times when I could use a little bit extra of it. So that's what I ended up listing for my last ingredient in my self-love potion. Next, I'm just adhering my labels to my bottle. So I'm going to use that combo again of E6000 and hot glue because I really loved this project and I wanted to stay permanently. I did rip off a label because it was kind of overlapping a little bit when I had tried to kind of mock place my label. So that's why it's ripped off. Anyways, I used the E6000 in the middle, hot glue on the outside. Super easy peasy there. Flip it over, do the exact same thing. However, the back side, the label wasn't like in the way of me having to adhere it, and it was a bit tough to get off. You could, of course, soak these ahead of time in like soap and water and get that to happen, but I didn't do that. Now, mine had a little bit of an edge where there wasn't any glitter and there was some of the clear bottles showing through. So I did go back in with a little bit of my Mod Podge, a little bit of my glitter, and just fix it right up, pour it back in my bottle. It's really important to be resourceful when you're crafting. Maybe not if you don't care, but I try to be at least. And then I just threw on the cap and that was it for this project. I absolutely adore it. It's totally my style and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. I just wanted to pop in one last time to invite you all to like, comment, and subscribe on this video and to my channel. It really helps me grow so that we can reach more folks in this YouTube universe. So if you haven't already, I'd really appreciate your support. Let's move on to our next self-love DIY. Last but not least is this positive affirmation box or container, whatever you want to call it. And I think this is such an amazing idea for friends and family to contribute to as well. And I've made this with kids in the past when I worked at the domestic violence shelter. It's just a really great way to spread love and to feel loved. So I'm starting out with an oatmeal container that I got from my honey, and I just kind of rolled it around and traced about how long I will need my poster board to be. This is the same black poster board I've been using throughout my other DIYs just from Dollar Tree, and I just cut it to the right size. And I'm going to just slowly but surely hot glue it all together. Now, you could use other glue if you want. I'm not sure, maybe some sort of like crafting glue would be great, but I just wanted a quick, immediate hold. So I'm using just my regular old hot glue, putting it in place, and then going just a few inches at a time and hot gluing it all together. Once it's all nice and hot glued together, I did have a few little edges that went over the top or the bottom of my container, so I'm just taking a scissors and snipping them off. I actually don't ask me how, but I broke an X-Acto knife a while ago, so I need to get a new one, but the scissors happen to work just fine for this. Now I've got this giant sticker that I got from Dollar Tree as well a while ago, and it was the only one of its kind, and I haven't seen it since, but let me know if you have ones like these at your Dollar Tree. It was a little bit too tall for my container, so I'm just cutting around the edges, but it says, "You got it, girl," and I thought that was such a wonderful positive message, so that's what I'm placing on my container. Now I'm trying to center it a little bit from the top and the bottom, and it's actually quite sticky, but I just used a tiny bit of hot glue on the very furthest edges of it to make sure it had a really secure hold. When I'm done gluing it down, I thought it needed a little bit more embellishment, of course, kind of to match our other ones, and also just glitter. So I'm using the same Mod Podge mix I used earlier. Doesn't matter that it's got a little pink to it because it's going to be covered with glitter anyways. But I just outline the sticker itself and pour some plain silver glitter around it. And I noticed that once I had done it the first time, some of it dried already. So I did have to go back and fill in some areas with more Mod Podge, fill it up with more glitter, but that part was just super easy, super quick. You don't have to worry about it drying before moving on to the next part or anything. Just like I did earlier, I am going to pour it back into my bottle. As you can see, I didn't do the greatest job here. So then I'm coming back in again with my handy dandy ladybug vacuum. So again, if you're interested in grabbing that, I'll have it linked in my bio down below, or my description box, I should say. Then I'm just tracing out the cap of my oatmeal container onto a piece of white, like tag board, poster board, whatever you want to use. This was like a thin cardboard that actually came with my butterfly embellishments that I was using earlier, and it was perfect for this. So I just traced it out, cut it out, made sure it fit in there perfectly, and then I just secured it with some hot glue really quickly. I knew it would have stuck anyways because it had kind of a lip around the edge, but I thought the hot glue would add a nice extra layer of security. Going in with my poster markers now, or my Posca paint markers, I should say, and I wrote, "An affirmation a day keeps the sadness away." And the purpose of this is you or your family or your friends can put in little notes in there to just make you feel positive, and you can grab one just on your sad days or every day, just to help you feel more excited about life and optimistic and just feeling loved. So that was the hope for this. Another option is, if you don't want that whole cover in there, you could cut a slot, like a coin slot in there, so people could just, as they go along, slip notes in there. But I just left the whole color because I like the idea of having that label and then just popping my notes in there. To add some extra decoration onto my container here, I am just using all my fun little poster markers. As you can see, they're still super vibrant, even on the black. And I'm just adding fun little colorful flowers around my container for some extra added detail. By the way, there are endless options you could use for your container. You could use a mason jar, you could use a box, you could use a bucket, whatever you want. I was just thinking in light of the Unconventional Craft Challenge and using this oatmeal container that I had, and I actually had it for a while and wasn't sure what to make with it, so I'm glad it came to work for something. Now I cut up some strips of paper and I'm just writing myself some really positive affirmations, like I am resilient, I do all things with compassion, or I am compassionate, and lots of just really positive messaging that either A, I already believe, or B, I might just need on a day when I need to pick me up to remind myself of how awesome and wonderful and loving I am. Like I said, this would be an amazing opportunity for friends and family to also participate, and maybe you could make each other's jar and support each other in that way. When you're done, pop all your notes into your container and pull them out as you wish. And that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed these self-love DIYs, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!